So, welcome back to Ghost of the Webway. Today I have Nick.
Hey.
And I have Noah.
Hey.
So we just finished up a game, me against Noah's Ultramarines. It was pretty tasty. It's a pretty tasty game. Quite a difficult one as well for me, so if you are interested in watching that or you haven't watched it before watching this video, pop over to Beer&Batreps and like and subscribe to them and watch our game through. That will be up before this, obviously. So, soon. Good. We had some beers, we had some fun. It was a fun game.
Maelstrom is always a fun format.
Yep.
Random but fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So, you've already watched, so I lost this one. This was quite a big loss looking at all these cards.
Lots of points for the Marines, which fits their fluff. They're tactically decisive.
Yeah, it's 12 points. Something like that.
It's a lot.
A lot for Maelstrom.
So that wasn't so good. However, we're not here to discuss, and I'm not here to whine about my losses. What we're here to talk about is what could have been done better, how the game went, how we feel the meta is at the moment, and just basically talk about the game as it went. So now, what did you find worked really well? What did you find you could have maybe improved on? And where did you find that you were a really good counter to me, but what did you find difficult to deal with?
Definitely getting charged and being able to back out with Ultramarines is huge. With vehicles and everything now, I mean, just it makes tanks kind of viable again. I mean, Haywire scares them, but I brought enough that I knew they weren't all going to get chewed through right away. Chapter Master, always pay for him. The 2 CP is always worth 3 rolls.
Yeah, especially with the minuses. The modifiers.
How modifiers work now and how the wording, reroll all hits is just wonderful. It makes your guys great. I did run a list. It wasn't very anti-tank, so that helped me a lot against kind of a elite horde, if you will. And lots of bolters, basically bolters and heavy bolters all over the place.
Well, with the new, heavy doctrine.
The tactical doctrine and the Devastator doctrine are very good. Just adding a rend doesn't really matter against Harlequins so much because I failed Null Zone every time. 3 for 3 fails.
Well, you got to lose some of them.
He's probably, if that had worked, it would have been amazing. Since it didn't, it wasn't.
Most people see a line of tanks and think Iron Hands nowadays. But you would have handled Iron Hands because you would have tagged all those tanks.
Yeah, and then
it's almost like Ultramarines specifically are the counter to Harlequins, unfortunately.
Look, most Iron Hands players bring repulsors too, so they can leave combat.
Yeah, but you could tie them up.
Yeah, you can still surround.
Yeah.
But and obviously having a tank character like Sergeant Kronos I was at 2 wounds still hitting on 2s.
That's a rare thing.
He's a very, very powerful
Plus, he healed, I think, 3 over the whole course, because he heals 1 per turn, and I ended up with 2 wounds, so I would have been dead without him.
Yeah.
For 35 extra points, you get to make your tank hit on 2s, just all game.
No big deal.
Never bracket. It's crazy.
Would you spend 32 points on Harlequins to get hit on 2s with anything? Yes.
You would.
It's like a special pilot for a Void Weaver. Whatever. Let's take it.
Yeah. Those, with bikes, that'd be so good.
But obviously going first always helps in almost any game that you play.
Yeah, to an extent. I think sometimes, to be fair, actually going second can be beneficial.
It can, depending on your army too.
In ITC specifically.
Yeah, grabbing objectives, getting hold more, knowing what you have to kill to get kill more, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And especially if you have a defensive-based army with lots of minuses, invols the whole time. You don't really have to worry about big guns hitting you. They hurt, but there's lots of stuff that's -5 and 4 out there now, so the fact that you always get a save, whereas my guys, I have a 2-up armor on Kronos, great, until you play some Necrons that are -5, just, cool, gotcha.
My dual thermal Chaos
Knights, anything, they'd go quick.
Definitely, but I think the name of the game in 8th Ed is Mass Firepower. If you've got it. So even I'd say going up against Knights. So you remember our game that we had against Chaos Knights as well. It wasn't so much necessarily that I had the strongest weapons or that I was doing multiple damage a lot. It was just so many dice. And so when you got that, with
Caresses.
the rerolls. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the caresses.
caresses.
The caresses.
Throws the stars, caresses.
Yeah.
It's
Caroline.
you're all about to kiss, but second you're up against T8, you need those caresses, and it worked today against the T8 Ironclad Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Those caresses were great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the caresses killed him on the first charge. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Dice.
-2. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. Caresses are fantastic. I mean, particularly against hordes and T8 things.
It's so strange to have something that's good against hordes and T8. I guess that's what Strength 5 is. It's good against both.
That's
And,
true.
You know, the kiss, the D3 is always going to be shiny, and you want the D3 damage. But -2 is...
Yeah,
solid.
the
It's
AP
good.
helps. I would say I like to have both. That's why I have both my lists. So I have more caresses now, which is really nice thanks to chapter approved. But I will still take some of those kisses, particularly against things like demons.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it did great. That
Yeah.
one game we had, refought my bird. What I've learned from your Harlequins, I personally have a Harlequin army. If you watch the battle report, it's the one with the space kind of
Dark.
galaxy theme, real dark, real easy, you know. But I did kind of the mid-range gun line that shoots when they die. That's kind of what my Harlequins were. We wanted to use our speed, but not necessarily fight unless we had to, and we only charged things that we knew we could kill. Even then, there'd be games where my bikers couldn't kill 10 guardsmen. So like,
Without rerolls for the Harlequins, it's
yeah.
they can be really strong, but unlike Marines, it's not always reliable.
I'm learning from you though that you gotta be aggressive. You gotta bring troops, which is something I never really thought about, just because I love the bikes and I like Void Weavers and things like Haywire, basically. But man, those troop masters, regardless of kiss or caress, you gotta have the troop masters. Every time you get used to them, and then you'll have a fight where there's no troop master, and you're like, man, I wish I had my troop master.
Every single time.
Yeah. So
I did do a little bit better with that with the positioning this time, so I was able to give them that. Turn 1, you're never really going to have him in there.
Yeah.
Is the way it is.
They're a little slower than everything
Yeah,
else.
I mean, unless you want to Twilight Pathways him up there, and then you've got the risk of, just not really doing very much with that. Although maybe that would have helped if I Twilight Pathways my troop master up and then advanced and charged with my bikes.
You had made that decision before the game that since you can't tag Ultramarine tanks, you just weren't gonna
Exactly.
bother with
Well,
it.
that was my point. There were things. So I was playing my tournament list today, and my tournament list has 2 ways of avoiding Overwatch, which are fantastic against most gun lines. But the 2 things that avoid Overwatch are my Solitaire, which is a single model, and my Troop Master, which is also a single model. So against Ultramarines, not so useful.
Yeah, especially again with the back out and shoot with anything, it's good.
And they're just so tough. Your job is just to live and then back out and shoot. And that's
then
it.
we're good.
And 3 up invols, T8, and 2 up save.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Solitaire fan, this might be a hard battle report to watch. He was so brave. He jumped into 4 characters and just got butchered, but
Yeah, he just needs to get that 1 hit through, really. To be fair, I think looking back at that exact thing, I would have done it again. The reason I would have done it again is because I wanted to kill that Chapter Master, and if I had killed that Chapter Master turn 1, you would not have had any more rerolls.
oh man, that would have been so epic.
It would have been very bad.
He had 8 dice to roll for the wounds and got 2 wounds. So it's just math. It's not great math, but
it happens.
did he go down in chapter approved?
Who, the Solitaire?
Yeah.
No,
So
it's the
still
same.
98.
Yeah, he's still 98 points.
That's a hard spot because man, there's a lot of good characters going way down in chapter approved.
Yeah, and because you can, I mean, if you think about it, that's almost a 10-man troop. 10-man troop is 110 points, and Solitaire's 98. For those 12 points, I think 10 bodies. It's not bad, but I still like him. I'm going to keep my Solitaire because I've got
tricks.
1. He's painted.
He's good in ITC too because he has
I
that
like
super move, the Blitz.
Yeah.
So he can really mess some people's day up, especially if you can't back out and shoot.
Yeah.
Well, and he's a distraction Carnifex. Like, it didn't scare Noah today, but a lot of armies are going to see that little Solitaire and go, oh crap, hold on, I need to reposition this a little bit.
Get your
absolutely
screens
true.
out and everything.
He jumps over him, but yeah.
So let's go over. Everyone's going to do 3 things that they learnt this game. So, Noah, what did you learn this game? Bolters are good.
Right. I would say, I personally like I like Psychers, I do, but I don't like relying on randomness because he failed. Basically every spell he cast except a smite and a might of heroes here and there.
Mhm.
So I like things that are just flat. This is what they do. They don't mess around with randomness. Chapter Master rerolls all hits. Lieutenant rerolls once.
Tigers, you're minus 1
Yeah.
to hit.
Even when it comes to like weapons, like I didn't have hardly any random damage. It's all flat 1 or 2. Just this is what if it gets through, we know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I like to math hammer, so it's a lot easier without random damage to do that.
You do that too?
Yeah.
I imagine everyone rolling exactly math and see who wins. Yeah.
Well, there's that site as well, isn't there, for it? I can't remember. Somewhere there. You guys probably know.
You have had a lot of games where Tigers whiffs though.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
with rerolls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
And plus
librarians
one.
are just risky.
Yeah.
I mean,
They are, and yeah, he's very good. He's one I do bring, and I would bring him in a really competitive Ultramarines list because he hands out stuff that's very good.
Just not rely on him necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The -1 almost makes him worth it, where
Yeah.
he just goes, you have a -1 to hit.
but to have a big win and have your librarian fail every time,
Right.
it's just like icing on the cake if he does succeed. Like the game just would have been even quicker if you just take away all those symbols and all those troops have a 6-up save now instead of a 4-up. You pass a lot of 4-ups, so that would have been huge.
Yeah, it does help. 4-up army wide is always a nice thing.
Yeah.
It's just how you roll that day.
As I have always known too, the only flyer to bring is the Storm Raven. It's awesome. The little guy, they're fun, they're great, they're silly. Maybe the Storm Hawk Interceptor, I don't own any of those. But as far as the Storm Talon goes, pretty mediocre for his points. I mean, you can I could almost field another squad of tactical Marines in a Razorback.
And you did the right thing. He did the right thing. He just ignored it.
Yeah, didn't even get targeted.
No way.
He
I just looked, flying.
killed a couple troops and killed a Death Jester at the very end.
I mean,
the flying potato doesn't bother me really.
No, it's...
The other one you talked about, it doesn't have Power of the Machine Spirit either, but I think it gets +1 against other flyers.
Right.
So that's the only reason
The
to bring
fighter.
it goes against
With
other
big
flyers.
guns never tire. If you're willing to dish out the CP, they're okay, but I don't know.
And just everyone brings fly keyword nowadays, so I think the other one might actually be
Pretty solid.
a good solid.
Okay,
yeah.
so we've learnt one flyer was good, one not.
Right,
One
very
that
superior.
Don't rely on your psychic. And one more thing.
I didn't need to do it much this game, but I didn't build mobility into my list, really. I mean, I have some vehicles to scoot up the board, but if I had been drawing objectives that were on your side, I wouldn't have had a chance at scoring them. So I got lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
Marines aren't ever great at it until you get Raven Guard or someone, White Scars infiltrating up the board and scout moving, stuff like that. But I would say pure gun lines with tanks, Ultramarines are one of the better choices. Like
They were good, yeah.
and their characters, which I didn't bring the named guys because I don't have them painted, maybe soon. But they have a lot of good buffs, a lot of good relics. That Sancticalo, I mean, it saved the day. It was great. He even denied a spell or two.
Yeah, Papa Smurf in there too.
Yeah.
He would have probably done a lot against my bikes as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
And my bikes would not. We had that with the last game, didn't we? Where he just murdered like 12 bikes. And,
Yeah, it's just buzzsaw. I'd go as far as to say the Ultramarines are the last army that can take tanks without fly keyword. If you build a parking lot of tanks without fly keyword, there's just too many fast armies that can just time up and you just lose.
Sure.
That's it. Orcs jumping in your face.
Orcs will still surround them.
I mean, like, or just your bikes could get one spell goes off and you're going 44 inches and charging. So you just tie up a whole gun line. I don't know if anyone brings them anymore. They got a big point drop, but like Helldrakes can tie up a gun line.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
they're about to make a big comeback.
So I just think, and they did this on purpose. All the new Primaris tanks have fly.
Yep.
You know, like it's for a reason. So I think it's cool, Noah, that you have Ultramarines and they can still bring the boxes.
List.
They can have boxes with treads.
That's the question though. So moving into Primaris, do you think that actually Ultramarines are better with like the original stuff, or with Primaris you've got so many fly stuff things anyway?
I love Hellblasters. They're, in my opinion, one of the best new units best Primaris units. Just because they did, with the rapid fire gun, they dish out tons of shots. They have a good threat range. I mean, troops just disappear in front of them. If you get the tactical going, they're -5. So anything without an invulnerable save is toast, even in cover. I mean, you're maybe getting a 6-up, maybe. And is again the rerolls, so you can overcharge, and the chaplain gives you +1. Like there's a lot of synergy that makes them very efficient. Extremely.
You could argue too much synergy. To the point where it forces you to castle up. I have 4 different bubbles that give me all these upgrades. I'm never going to go over there. I'm going to sit right here. So that's their one weakness. If they have any weakness, is that it forces you to castle.
They like their castle. And you could bring a few units that help with that. I just don't. Anything jetpack, deep striking. I do actually like the Inceptors. They're one of my other new Primaris units that I do enjoy. The bolters, the assault bolters are great.
Oh, yeah, they're good, yeah.
You drop down, you can drop down out of range of Interceptor. They're still solid. They're not the easiest to kill, but they're not super hard.
No, they gain a wound, which helps.
Yeah.
Because before I found like Ravagers and stuff would just annihilate them. So I killed like 9 of them in one turn with a deep stroke, just with 3 Ravagers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And put them in cover. They're kind of tough. They're a great way to clear an objective or pop up in the backfield. And,
yeah, they're good for that.
But
so
points drop.
This isn't Marine.
That's right.
This is about the Quins.
So
I don't know.
as far as the Quins and the castle up thing, that's one nice thing about a Harlequins is you don't have to castle.
No,
you have the flexibility.
Very mobile.
You can split.
You wouldn't want to stay. You would
Exactly.
not want to stay still with a Harlequin.
Maybe if you ran an army of just like all troop players, you'd want all your characters to make a -1 to wound and reroll wounds.
Yeah, but even then, you're still probably going to be charging up.
Split into 2.
Yeah.
You know, have a troop master in each.
They're so fast.
Yeah.
No, what I learned in this battle as the cameraman. I'm not saying you made the wrong move. You do want to move twice, even against an army that you can't tag, because you spend a turn sitting right here, and then in turn 3, when you really hit them hard, which you could have done way back on turn 2. And I don't mean move twice with the bikers. I don't think that was necessary. But moving twice with that 10-pack of troops, because, like I said, I wasn't troop heavy with my Harlequins, and I've learned my ways. I've already bought a couple more boxes. You've taught me that the troops are truly nasty. They die so easily to assault cannons.
Yeah,
but,
assault cannons, even just mass firepower.
But like what? He cleared all your troops on one side of the board, and all you had left on the other side of the board was enough to smash through most of the Ultramarines.
Yeah, I mean, they killed, I think, almost all my...
It was a good game. We're making it sound like the Ultramarines crushed the Harlequins, but there was a good turn 2, turn 3 where the Harlequins hit really hard.
Yeah, there were a couple of little moments.
If you're a Harlequin fan, it's definitely worth watching. You'll get a little sad, but they hit super hard, and you get to see exactly what troops are meant to do. You do see some haywire bounce off, but that's another Ultramarines crazy, or not just Ultramarines, Space Marines that can stop haywire. But against most opponents, haywire is going to be nasty.
Scary.
I think I learned more of what I already kind of did with my force is that you focus the haywire, even if you have to do multiple units. You gotta kill things, and he split a little bit from one tank and another tank, but
to be fair, I only did that when I killed them. So when I wanted something dead, I did focus on that. But so I don't think my target priority was off actually. It's just
I guess when you went after Kronos, you were already 1 unit down.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do all 3 units.
Yeah, this was the thing. So I mean, I was trying to get rid of that flyer first, which I did, but it took a while. Then with that, it was like I took it down with 1 bike unit, didn't I? And then the second bike unit, I started just trying to target Kronos. But by the last time, target priority wasn't an issue because I didn't have enough to prioritize. So that was the main thing. But
I think our characters did really well. I think they had a good game.
Oh, they always do.
There were 2 characters ganged up on a dreadnought. It was awesome.
Yeah, characters are great. Yeah.
And once again, I'm learning from you. I also didn't run a lot of Shadow Seers. I own 3. They're all painted, but I thought at 125 they're a little too pricey because I didn't run a lot of infantry, which is what they buff. Now that they've gone down and I see the troops are good, I'm going to be bringing them back because I think between Smite, their version of Smite, which is the -1 leadership, you can do Mirror of Minds, and you can do the Mirage launchers, or not Mirage launchers, the
Hallucinogenic
hallucinogen grenade launchers. It's just so many more wounds that they can pump out, and they're good at combat, which most librarians aren't.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? It's so weird having
So-
someone come in and smack you on the head with a staff. And you go, what?
You're like, Gandalf, yeah, he used to hit people with a staff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Any Lord of the Rings fans would be like, yeah, of course. Good, yeah, so Shadowseer's troops and, target priority. I think I did okay with it, but
Maybe
to be fair, it could have been better.
Twilight Pathways, every game.
Yeah.
100 out of 100.
No, agreed, yeah. I would absolutely agree with that first point.
This is selfish of me as the cameraman, but I was hoping for Mirror of Minds. It's so fun.
It's
Just a little roll off
It's a
mini
cool
game.
one.
You were doing a bunch to me the other day.
It was fun last game.
What other spell can take down a
It's
knight?
not
Yeah.
competitive, really.
It's
a couple more mortal wounds.
To be fair, here I probably could have done with that a lot more than I make defensive spells, because I probably could have just sniped out the Chapter Master using like Mirror of Minds and Shards of Light, and then the Death Jesters. And
Yeah.
this is the thing. I think although my target priority on my bikes wasn't bad, my target priority with my characters was a little off. So my focus should have been not only to kill the big scary things that can push out a lot of shots, but to kill the things that back them up.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I had to learn, and against Marines I learned quite how crucial that is.
Yeah, if you take out your rerolls with Marines,
Yeah.
they're still good.
Mm.
You know, you're still pumping out a lot, but when you couple it with the minuses Harlequins get, especially the -2, I mean, all of a sudden Kronos is hitting on 4s, not rerolling. He's cut in half.
To be fair, you had to kill his dreadnoughts though. 2 heavy flamers against Harlequins, you don't want that.
Oh, definitely.
4 heavy flamers between the 2 of them, you
No,
can't
I
have
think
that.
I think
So,
it was difficult because obviously you have the 2 dreadnoughts, you had the Storm Raven.
Yeah, the big bird.
Yeah, and the Land Raider with Kronos pumping out so many shots, and all 4 of those need to die. The question is when.
Yes.
I
I brought a lot of armor.
Yeah, but I think probably if I was going to play again, I would go for Kronos first, probably.
mhm.
I think I should have killed him first. And your Chapter Master, who should have died anyway,
Yeah.
he should have been priority number 1, to be honest. And I think that's the thing. If you can take out the buffing units, the things that make everything better, do it every time.
Yeah, force
Yeah.
multipliers. If
Yeah.
you can get rid of those,
Exactly.
it's not.
And I'm not saying this is a bad move either, but I'm starting to see that in 8th edition, if you hold one of your strongest units back in reserve and then go second, you take it on the chin 2 shooting phases in a row before your good unit even drops in.
Yep.
And it can really just like ruin your whole game.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it very often, to be fair, with the deep strike.
And I told you to do it, so it's my fault.
No, to be fair, no, I thought about it anyway. Yeah, when I was like, oh, I'm not going to go first. I'm going to take a little firepower. To be honest, maybe you might have split up your firepower. Although, who explain it?
Yeah, you went hard
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the troops, so you may have just been safe with all 18 bikes.
Yeah, my idea was get rid of the stuff you're comfortable with camping on objectives.
Yeah.
That was the
Makes
whole-
sense. Yeah.
And
Makes
that
sense.
was really all I could target with
Yeah.
Kronos.
Yeah.
So.
But that goes not just Harlequins. I mean, like, if you have a really powerful unit in reserve, it's a dangerous game. You're gambling at that point because your opponent either hits you super hard and then it's all you have left,
Yeah.
or they spread out and you don't get to land where you wanted to land and you're out in no man's land, so you may as well have just started on the board in the first place.
Yeah.
But that's in a normal Warhammer.
Also,
tactics.
target saturation too is not bad.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of scary stuff to shoot.
Oh yeah.
The one time it worked really well though, when I saw you do it, was you have one unit that's -2 to hit, you have another unit of bikes that's 3 up in bolt, and the third unit's in reserve. So that all you can aim at are 2 really defensive buffed bike units.
Yeah, it can work.
So
I think it
can
very
work.
much depends. Like as I've always said to you guys as well, I'm still learning. I'm working out what works for me. This was, for example, my first game against like actual Ultramarines. I played you and your Emperor's Spears.
Yeah, it's like a combat
Yeah.
aquatic weird. They have a new book out, a novel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a combat marine army, which is not competitive,
it's
but
good.
fun.
Yeah, and
lot of
again,
characters.
very good against Quins. So be careful of scary like
Reavers.
Reavers.
It's like
yeah,
5 attacks
and
each with
bolters.
no AP, but when you're fighting 4 pinballs, you don't need AP.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, Bolt of Fire and things like this, they are really powerful against Harlequins. That being said, I hope you guys have learned a little bit from this video, from watching us discuss. Pretty much just ramble about 40k for the best part.
That's awesome.
How long is it now? 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so see you all next time.